Hello, everyone. Welcome to Abnormal Investigations. I hope everybody's doing all right tonight. Um, we should have a pretty good show for you all tonight, and we got a couple of encounters. We may not get to both. I don't know. It depends on how time runs. We're starting a little later in the night than what we normally do, kind of doing a test run on some times. Since I don't have anything else to do tomorrow, I figured why not? I'm usually up all night, right? Um, so it looks like we got a few people in chat already. We got Jesse and Amanda's going to be joining us tonight, and I believe Randy's going to be in here in just a little bit. He's on his way. Let me go ahead and I will bring Jesse in real quick, and let me see. I can bring Amanda in. I'm guessing this is the right one. Amanda, can you hear us?
I can.
It was the right one. I didn't know which one to use.
I know. I accidentally clicked on it. Oh, I'm hearing myself. Is that right?
Yeah, if you have two up, then it's probably echoing through.
Oh,
Let me. Did that help?
Yep, it did.
Oh man, we got a good show tonight, guys. You ever feel like you missed your calling? I feel like I should have been the warden of an insane asylum because I have plenty of practice. I could write a resume, dude. I could write a book. Jesus.
I just want to be a hippie in the woods.
Yeah, that sounds a lot less stressful.
Right?
So how's your all's day been so far?
Mine's been great.
Yeah, good. Good. Now that I was freed, my daughter left for work, so I was able to get out, and now my AC went out.
Oh, no. I saw that in the chat, Jess.
Yeah. That's okay.
That's not good.
Cool. It's supposed to be cooler tonight, so I'll have to, tomorrow morning, I'll have to go and take a look at the unit. Good thing I have my degree in HVAC.
Man, it seems like there's always something. Seems like always something. I tried to do the live tonight on the Wide Open Adventures, and it seems like I don't know what went crazy on that, but something went crazy, I guess. But it's out there. It did upload, and it says everything went through fine. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, that was weird. It said it was only up for like a minute and 18 seconds or something. The live.
Is that a, oh,
Yeah,
that is
live.
so weird. See, I'm showing a 15-minute download. Yeah, almost 15 minutes.
I was there for a minute until it cut out on me.
Was it going crazy?
Yeah. It shut down on me twice, and I went back in and I couldn't get back on.
There ain't no telling. Absolutely no telling. So who do we have with us in chat this late night tonight? We got Virginia in here. We got Grace in here. We got Michael Deers here. Silver Bullets in here moderating. Michelle McGuire's in here. I know if she's in here, there's going to be trouble. Looks like she said hello to Infinite. Little Smurfy's in here tonight. I always got to pick on Michelle. Dana Affliction's in here. Mindy Weeks is in here tonight. Good to see you, Mindy. And Margie. Good grief. We got a ton of people in here tonight. So, what's everybody's 4th of July plans? What's everybody doing for the 4th? What are you doing, Jesse?
I have no plans. We have the parade route actually comes right down our road, so I can kind of get a sneak preview of all of the stuff, the floats and everything else.
Yeah.
Then from right where I live, because I'm only a mile from the lake, I can see the fireworks right from here. So I just chill out, enjoy it.
Don't blame you. And Amanda, what would be your 4th of July plans?
My 4th is Sacramento to be with my daughter. And then we're going to go to my sister Ariel's for my niece's very first 4th of July, which is going to be great. I'm super excited about that. I can't wait to see her face when she sees all the fireworks.
Yeah, that's always interesting to see them whenever they see something blow up.
Yeah, on the first 4th, it's just magical.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I remember those days. So I really don't have anything planned. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I may go hang out with a friend or something. 4th of July to me just is not what the 4th of July used to be. You know what I mean? It just doesn't have that feeling to me. It's more like chaos than it is like excitement. And I just like, I got enough chaos 364 days a year.
See,
Right.
the 4th to me is always like, it's actually the day that I celebrate my birthday because, that's when everyone's celebrating stuff. So
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
celebrate my birthday on the 4th always, because the 5th, everyone's all tired because most of them have hangovers and stuff.
Yeah. And you're turning the big 50 now? Is that what that's going to be?
Yeah, no. I'm going to be 42, everyone, 42.
Ooh, getting old.
I know, getting up there. Jeesh.
Trust me, it flies. It doesn't take long. Before you know it, you're knocking on 50's door.
No, you are knocking on 50's door, Mike.
I absolutely am. Hold on one second.
The way you even said that too, it was like too funny.
That scared me. I was like, what's
No.
happening? What's happening, Jess?
You're knocking on 50's door.
Yeah. Well, because today he told me, because he was like, oh yeah, I'm turning 30. And I fell for that. I literally thought he was turning 30. And he was like, I was messing with you. I was like, well, you got me good then.
Yeah, I do know a few 30-year-olds that have quite a lot of gray in their beard.
I mean, yeah, actually, you never know nowadays,
I was just happy I was able to pass it off for 30 with her. I was figuring she was like,
you did, Mike.
you look way older than that.
I'm gullible, though. I'm gullible, okay?
Hey, I like gullible. That's good. Especially whenever it comes to people believing I'm 30 years old. Man, I would love to be 30 years old again. Kind of like that song, a lot of things different.
Mm-hmm.
I have something playing in my background and I don't know what to do about it. It's like I don't know what it is. It's playing while I'm on here. Can you guys hear it?
Yeah. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I don't know what to do.
Is it like something on your phone?
Yes. Okay. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay.
There it is.
Always me just over here messing up stuff.
Always the young ones. You know how it is. Yeah, that was the good old days when you was called the young one.
Yeah, that's been a while. It's been a while. I told
Yeah.
my son I'm gonna flip the candles around though. I'm not gonna be 42. I'm gonna be 24. He started
There you go.
laughing. He started
Boy,
laughing.
that would be the day. Man, I don't know if I'd want to go back that far because at 24,
Yeah, me neither.
yeah,
We're just
I don't
joking.
think I was pretty pretty brazen at that age.
I was wild, so I don't want to go back to those days.
You know, I kind of enjoy that front porch sitting, cold glass of tea, watch the sun go down, and
Me too.
maybe walk across the yard in my I call them my gators, but they're Crocs, and get me a fresh tomato or something off the vine.
There you go.
I can eat them things like an apple.
Oh, me too. I can eat any kind of vegetable. I love vegetables and fruits all day long.
I like most, but man, what's them one things that turnips? Yuck.
Oh, I don't like those either.
Yeah, I don't care for turnips.
I
My
don't like
grandma,
persimmons either.
my grandma boiled them. She's like, "Here, try one of these. They're really good." I took a bite and I was like, "Ooh, ooh," ran to the back door. That was so bitter.
I don't like turnips either. And I don't like persimmons. Don't hold it against me.
You know, persimmons are not something I really like. They're just kind of like something that like it don't bother me to take a bite of one, but they're not something I would eat. They're just kind of like, you know, yeah, you could eat it if you had to.
It's edible.
Yeah, I like pears. Probably is one of my favorite fruits.
Ooh,
Is a
me too.
pear.
Me too. Have you had apple pears before?
Never had one of those.
Oh, they're so good. They're delicious. They're like half apple, half pear, like all combined in a little one package. It's delicious. I think they're
Never
from
tried
Asia.
that.
I think they're Asian pears. They're called Asian pears.
I planted a tree in my backyard, and I kept wondering. I was like, "Why is this thing not giving me pears yet? I've had this thing for like I don't know 8 years. It blooms out really pretty, and I was like, why is there no pears on it?" And then I got to looking at it, and it's not like a pear tree you eat from. It's a Bradford pear, so that's probably why I don't have any pears on it.
That would be a reason.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to go get some more trees. It appears if I want to have some fruit.
There you go. You're gonna have to get new trees. The right ones this time.
And it stinks. I mean, it does stink really bad. And I looked it up on the internet, and it said that Bradford pear trees are great insect repellents. A lot of people plant them to keep insects away. So maybe it'll keep the insects away.
See, you got it, and you didn't even know that you needed it.
Maybe you need to cut a branch off next time you go out and do boots on the ground. Carry it with you in your back pocket.
There you go, Jess.
Maybe. You know, guys, I'm not going to, I'm not going to brag about myself too much, but, I'm pretty smart. And when I want expert advice, I usually, talk to myself. So probably done that, just not knowing what I was doing. I mean, I am part of the White Castle, up at the Great Falls in Cuba. So, but we're all American here, right?
Yeah, not to toot your own horn or anything,
Yep.
but toot toot.
Yeah. Cuba American. If you don't know your history, you just make it up as you go. Keep a straight face, and most people will follow you.
That is so true. They'll agree with you.
Yep, just like our encounter tonight is coming out of Manitoba, which is another American encounter. and we're going to be talking about that.
The 51st state. The 51st state.
I was gonna say
That's
Trump
right.
has his way. Yeah.
That's right. We're conquerors. That's what we are. We're conquerors.
We're getting banned. We're getting banned for sure.
Entertainment purposes only.
Yeah, entertainment
purposes
purpose.
only. Remember this, folks. Entertainment purposes only.
Please remove your children.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Oh, I remember those when I was little. Mom and Dad and everybody go rent movies, and we'd have to rent the VCR too because we couldn't afford the VCR. So like that was a big night for us, to rent the VCR and the movies and the pizza and everything. And then viewer discretion is advised. And they're like, "Go to your room. This is our movie."
I was actually a manager at Blockbuster Video before it shut down a long, long, long time ago.
Oh wow. I've rented I don't know how many movies from there. Probably still have some from there.
I've seen every movie from there. We had to watch like 7 movies a week. We had to watch 7 movies a week to so we could interact with the customers and let them know if the movie was good or what it was about or da da da. Like any new movies that came out, we had to see them all.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That would be good and bad because I wouldn't want to watch like the Possession, ones and stuff like that.
I am obsessed with. I like horror movies a lot, but I don't like those ones. Those are ones I don't like.
That's how I am. I love horror movies, but when it gets into the demonic stuff, I don't watch it.
I don't like it either.
I end up waking up in the morning with peas all in my beard and down the front of my shirt, and I don't even know how it happens. At least the cat hasn't got ate yet. I haven't ate the family cat in front of the family.
That's good. That's so because then I'd have to come there and hunt you down because cats. I love cats. You can't be hurting no cats.
Well, you know what I've learned, Amanda, so far is that cats actually love humans.
Yeah, they do. They do.
Like literally.
Yeah, they'll eat you too if they're hungry enough. We just don't remember.
It made me start questioning when my cat comes up and bites me in my sleep now. Is she playing or is she just checking to see if I'm still alive?
She's checking to see if her meal's ready.
Let me get a little nibble of that finger.
Oh, my cat does that too. And he wakes me up every morning at 4:00 in the morning to feed him. I'm like, what kind of schedule do you think I'm on here?
His schedule.
His schedule. Exactly. His schedule.
Well, our cat really does not like me. I don't know why, but she don't like me. Like I can pet her and she'll bite the blood out of me or scratch me. Logan and Mom, they can carry her around. She's like a big baby, but I can just like walk past her. She's like, ow, and just like stares at me. And I can walk over and pet her. She's like, oh, she bites me. So I guess she's like, I don't know.
Cats are like that. They just have they have usually 1 or 2 people that they like, and then they could care less about anyone else. It's just how cats are.
Well, if I ever died, she'd be lucky because I'd probably last her a while right now.
It's horrible, Mike. That's horrible.
They'd be like, man, we found that guy and there wasn't much of him left, but that's the biggest damn cat I ever seen.
It can't even fit out the door.
And it acted so happy.
So I've seen some fat cats, and I think it's sad because like when people have cat doors and the cat can't fit through the cat door, it's like, what are you feeding your poor cat?
What's sad is
dogs will rule. No, I don't think so.
I actually know some humans that's got to turn sideways to come through the door. So it's not just
I know some people that are tall and they have to duck to come through the door.
Oh yeah, that was my dad. My
son's huge. 14 and he's 6 feet tall. He's 14 and he's 6 feet tall. I'm like, can you stop growing already? He's already like so tall. I'm 5'3", so he towers over me.
Wow. My dad in his cowboy boots was 6'8".
Dang, that's tall.
Yeah, he was a big man. I had to keep him in line every now and then, but he was a big man. Not really. He kept me in line. He would have broke me like a pencil. He probably wanted to a few times. Yeah, Infinite Seven. I have to put in some double doors for my cat. I really don't plan on her ever getting to eat me. I think that's going to be in my will. The cat doesn't get me.
If the cat eats you, it gets nothing.
Yeah, if the
You-
cat eats
you
me,
guys-
it's to the alley.
Do you guys want to be cremated or do you want to be buried?
That's kind of a personal question.
Okay. I mean you don't have to answer well because he's talking about what I'm just wondering because I personally do not want to be buried. I want to be cremated just because
Really?
I don't want to be buried. That's like my worst fear. And I know I won't be there anymore, but still, like I know that was kind of her personal question. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just joking.
Oh, okay. I'm like, I'm sorry, Jess. Did I overstep my boundaries?
I'm just messing with you.
Okay.
Just messing with you, Ted.
Okay.
I think I want to be buried.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I definitely want to be embalmed to make sure that I'm dead.
Well, yeah. I mean, let's hope that you are dead before you get put in a casket. That's my worst fear.
I've heard too many horror stories, of I don't know, maybe I watched too many Twilight Zones or something, but the being stuck inside of the fire, and the person screaming in their mind. I mean, I know you're not going to feel that, but
Yeah,
it's just it's the idea of me being burnt to ashes because I don't even like to be burned, man. I don't like to burn my finger.
Worse than anything. Being burnt is horrible.
Yeah, I think I like to be buried, embalmed, maybe leave me my cell phone or something, and just in case. No, just
in case you need to call someone to get you out.
Yeah, live boots on the ground tonight.
We gotta go unbury Mike. We gotta find him.
I no longer have the bells that you ring. Now you just
I was just about to say that, Jess. I've seen a thing where they used to have the bells connected to the people, and so they would, be able to tell if they're dead or not.
Mm-hmm.
That's freaking creepy.
Amy says that she has a fear of being buried alive. That is a weird feeling. If I really was to stop and think about it, being placed in that box and it being locked and put in the ground and buried. But then, if you think about it, also, is it worse to be buried like that or to know you're going to be burnt to ashes? And then I've heard horror stories from people that run cremations because when I used to work, we would stop by the funeral homes because sometimes you got to pick up paperwork, right?
I don't
people that die.
Stop it.
Well, you're on abnormal, so you don't have a choice tonight. We are where nightmares are made of.
I'm finding this out.
They don't.
Michelle McGuire's comments.
I did.
No.
She wants to be texted and read.
There you go.
And someone else had a comment. I forgot what it said. It said, "I go to Belinda's comment. It was freaking hilarious. It was before that one. I was laughing about it.
Boots Underground.
Yeah, Boots Underground.
They told me that whenever they burn you, and they was talking to me and my partner one night because it was late and he didn't have, I guess, anything else to do. He was like, when we give people their ashes, that's really not just their loved one, right? And we were both just like looked at him like, and he's like this weird guy too. It's always the weird ones that work the night in the funeral homes. He's like, that we just kind of like just broom it out, and give you a certain amount of weight.
Now, I don't know if he was just messing with you.
He was serious. I mean, he didn't crack a smile. And when we went in there and he showed us where they do the burning at, there was ashes all over the place in there.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at boobs on the ground. Somebody said boobs on the ground. Oh my God. I'm like, that's a whole nother show.
Well, I mean,
Woo!
there was there was ashes everywhere.
Now I've talked to other people that have worked in funeral homes that actually do that, and they said that after every single one, it's a huge process, and that's why it's
I've
almost
heard
more
that too.
costly because
I've
they
heard that.
have to go through and clear everything out and make sure it's completely clear for the next one to be brought in.
I
Well, I
have
mean,
heard that too, Jess.
yeah, they grind you, you know.
Ew. No, they
After they,
don't. They just put you on a pyre or like in a thingy in an oven and cook you, right?
yeah, but then they take what's left because all the bones and stuff don't burn, and they grind it into an ash.
Mhm.
They have to grind you.
Oh.
Still want to be
I
cremated?
mean, yeah, I do want to be cremated. Who cares if somebody else comes with me a little bit? It's all right. They deserve to go too.
I
Right?
don't know. It depends on who it is.
Well, that's true. That's true.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
I remember seeing a video where the woman was talking about how her mother had passed away, and or I don't know if it was her mother, but a family member had passed away, and she was given the ashes, and she didn't know what to do with them, or she had to wait until she could take them to the place that her mom wanted to be laid to rest, and she ended up putting them on top of her fridge, and life happened, and then like her dog passed away, and she's like, and guess where the dog is? Yes, cremated on top of the fridge. And then she panned over to the fridge, and there was 3 cremation jars, and she's like, oh, and that's the cat.
Oh my goodness. So her top of her fridge turned into her crematory.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Crazy.
Well, somebody's
Yeah,
responsible for them then either way, right?
and the people that die that don't have uh, insurance, they place them in literal boxes that are cardboard lined. I mean, you're not hardly given anything. They don't give you a vault or nothing. You're just buried out there, pretty much like the old days.
Like
And
Jane
if
Rose.
yeah, and
People
if
that don't have any family.
they cremate you, it's like they don't put a lot of effort into it.
How
You know
about
what?
let's talk about something else?
You know what? At that point,
Like, this is getting sad.
you're passed on at that point. It doesn't matter because
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You're gone. Your spirit's gone. So
we know we're talking down the black path when Tyler says, "Wow."
that's true. That's
Tyler's like, "Wow." Yeah, I
yes,
mean,
oh,
it
and he
is.
said wow
funerals
too.
are for
And
the
he said
living.
wow too.
But a lot of people that unalive themselves will
Yeah.
drive to a funeral home in the parking lot, call the funeral home, and then do it.
Oh wow.
They've had that happen a lot.
I mean, I guess it's better than like going out in the woods and doing it where your family can't find you.
Well, that's part of the reason they said they do it is so their family don't find them. You know.
That's, I mean, and that's a whole nother thing that's just horrible to me to even think about. But
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, in the job I done, I dealt with the worst of society. You don't get a call to go to something because something good's happened. You go because something bad is happening. And, there's things that you see, like, I always told people, if you don't believe in God, go work 6 months. And I done, part of mine was what I specialized in, what I chose to specialize in was narcotics, and I done domestic. That was just what I chose. And man, whenever you actually see things manifest into people when they get mad, I mean, we had this one guy that we had arrested, right? He was his strength. Thank God this guy did not fight us. Okay, this guy was robbing Sears. Middle of the day, Sears has a policy that their employees are not allowed to get involved. If somebody was robbing them, they can't do nothing but call the police. They can't stop them. They don't have loss prevention at this location. I don't know that that's all locations, but at this location.
That's how most places are.
Well, me and my partner, we fly up, right? We got our lights on. We get out, and This guy comes walking out of Sears, two 72-inch TVs on both shoulders, just walking. And we're like, hey, bub, you pay for that? You know? And he's like, looks at us, just weird, like, look. And he takes them and he puts them in his car. I'm talking like he owned them. I mean, to him, he wasn't in a hurry. He just slides them in his car, puts them in there, shuts the door, he turns around. And my partner's like, oh, God, I hope it don't go this way. And we're like, you put your hands on the car, dude. And he's probably like 6'4", probably close to 300 pounds. And he's not fat. This dude's actually built. And he just like complies. But the bad thing is once we got him in handcuffs, this dude was grinding his teeth so loud that we couldn't even hardly stand to be around him. I mean, it sounded like you had two pairs of teeth just rubbing them. And he'd done it the whole time, just grinding them. And when we got him down there, I guess they done, the blood work on him and everything. And he had all kinds of stuff. But this guy, when we was driving him, he was like making growling noises and like he was like slobbering really bad. I mean, he looked crazy.
That's terrifying. That's terrifying.
And they found him in an old lady's attic a week later, staring at her out of the manhole. No, not really.
Oh, gosh. I was like, dang it, you should have locked him up.
And he was released on his own recognizances.
Oh, my. Be quiet. I'm never believing you anymore.
Oh, man. But yeah, I mean, we saw some bad things, but there were some funny things you see, too. We had one guy. He was standing.
I'm only believing Jess from now on.
Oh, you're in trouble now.
Well, geez.
We had this one guy. We got a call from the police department on our radio, and they're like, "We need some backup. We need some backup. We're hands on. We're hands on. We're hands on." So, man, we fly there, light, siren, everything. Me and my partner get out. This cop is like standing probably 20 feet from this guy. And this guy is like standing up where the trash can goes, like in a corner. And this guy is standing there, right? And he's naked, completely nude. And he has soaked himself in Vaseline. And the cops are like, we can't get a hold of him. They were soaked in Vaseline where they were trying to wrestle him. And they couldn't get a hold of him to fight him. So... So
this is not a P. Diddy party, okay?
I tased him.
Oh.
Let's just say it hit extra hard with that Vaseline on him. I didn't think about it. So I like literally...
I'm dying.
I like literally lit him up. He laid down and was begging for handcuffs. He's like, don't do that again, please. He told me I was going to go to hell for that. He was really upset. But it was bad.
I bet he'll never do that again.
I'm okay. I've made it back.
I don't know if he was okay. But
I doubt he was. And he probably wanted to kill you.
Actually, he was really nice to me. He just kept saying, you're going to go to hell for that. And then whenever we took him and we got him booked into jail, we walked outside and my boss said,
how did he not slip out of his handcuffs?
He wasn't even trying. He was the best person. I mean, he done everything we wanted him to after that. Because when we got down to the jail and got him booked and everything, me and my partner walked out, and my partner was like, dude, he's like, that is the first time I've ever seen a dude shot with a taser, and I could see like little sparks around his whole body.
That's horrible. Thank God nobody was smoking or anything.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. We got Randy backstage. Whenever he's ready, I'll bring him up. Whenever he gives me up there,
Randy, get
there's
out here,
the thumbs
Randy.
up.
I laughed so hard I had to mute myself. It was bad.
Well, I felt kind of bad
For a minute.
because, well, I was like the last one to show up, and it's like my first instinct was to just like shoot him with the taser.
Well, you got to do what you got to do.
I wasn't going to wrestle him like that. What's up, Randy?
Beautiful day in paradise.
I like the candle.
I sent it to him.
I just got home. What did you send?
The candle. He sent you
A
that
candle. I'm going to send you some more candles.
I'll be sure to return the sender on that shit.
Yeah, no kidding.
No kidding, my damn candle. Hell no.
Okay.
All your little self.
I have a question from last night from the Boots on the Ground because Randy and everyone said that they heard my name being said, and I didn't hear it. And I went back and watched it, and I couldn't hear it at any point. And so I just want to know, like, did you hear it, Jess? Did you hear it, Mike?
Yes, it said your name. It said
Yep,
your
I
name.
heard it.
Great.
I heard it multiple times.
Yeah.
Great.
Something like you. You have something to
great.
the on that.
See, now don't you go around saying you ain't got no friends.
Hey, Mike.
Right? I know. I have friends I didn't even know about.
The same thing used to happen with your sister when she used to go with you. There would be EVPs with these things saying her name.
But
now
I wasn't there.
Amanda, I mean, who else were they talking to? And you're the only Amanda that we know.
I know, that's creepy.
And that's out of all these times I've heard EVPs that somebody say the name Amanda. That's not a coincidence. I don't think.
I don't think so either. But still, it's a little bit spooky.
Well, another thing, Amanda, is like what Randy was telling you whenever we did do the Boots on the Ground. There was something down there or some things down there that got very fond of Sarah.
Oh, okay.
It was calling her mama.
Oh. Yikes.
So
Sarah doesn't go anymore.
Well, Sarah stopped going.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Why?
It started asking for her, like, where's Sarah? Where's Sarah? And didn't I tease it one night and ended up making it even matter about Sarah or something?
Yeah, you said something about bringing Sarah down, and they were like, yeah, Sarah.
Oh, no.
And then they were like, where's Sarah?
Mm-hmm.
Where's Sarah? They weren't happy when she didn't show up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, they, for some reason, they were very attached to her. And, we didn't tell a lot of people this, but whenever she stopped, one of the reasons that she did stop is she was having issues at her home. It followed her home. And it was beating on her house and stuff. And she had some really weird stuff happen. So.
Well, shucks. Maybe I don't want to go. Nah, I'm not going to show it fear because I'm not scared.
What is it they say? Once you're past the point of no return.
Yeah. And don't show fear. No fear. You shall not fear. Yeah.
I spoke to a guy today. It was a very great conversation. I'm not going to say his name right now, but he will be coming on the show. We spoke a lot today. Randy will also, I'm sure, know a lot about this. We were talking, Randy, about Bigfoot and cryptids, okay? And what came up was whenever you plead the blood of Christ on a spiritual being, they have no other choice but to do as you say. The power of Christ, there's no question in it. Okay. But if one of the physical things are coming, right? Like we would believe the Nephilim, the Eliod, something physical. It eats, it breathes, it drinks, it has to have food, shelter, water. Same as us pretty much to survive, except for it probably has angelic abilities, that have fallen down the line. So if it's coming at you in the woods and you're standing there, the conversation we had was, it's coming at you and you say, in the name of Christ, you can't kill me. you're probably going to get killed. And the reason being is God gave all living being the key word, all living things free will. Okay? So they have the free will to choose between evil and righteousness. But now the demons that follow them, the true demons, the disembodied demons, which can manifest into anything they want to. They can look like your dad, your brother, your aunt you lost, your brother you lost. They can deceive you, but they have to obey because they are in the spiritual world that Christ controls. The blood of Christ controls them. They have to abide by that. And with that being said, when he comes on the show, he's going to talk to us about spiritual warfare. And that's going to be a damn good show because I'm telling you, this guy, he made me think so much. I mean, the way he talks, he makes a statement and then leaves an open-ended question. And I love people that are able to do that. Number one, that's a sign of intelligence. But what he does is he's like a detective. He feels you out and tries to find out what is the issue and what do we need to work on. Thank you, Michelle. That is the sweetest thing you've ever said to me. It's interesting because, I mean, like, say I was talking to somebody and I didn't know, and I give you the wrong information. Like, say Randy's like, "Hey, Mike, I don't know nothing about these cryptids, but I'm going to go out in the woods and I'm going to get one because if one gets after me, all I got to do is say, leave me alone, name of Jesus Christ." And then the next day, the headlines in the New York pages, "Man found shredded in the woods," And I'm like,
yeah, good luck, buddy.
Is that the same guy that I just told? I don't want to be. Whoops. But
how about those two paranormal investigators that went down to New Orleans? They screwed around and found out.
Right.
Remember that story? They shredded. Their bodies were shredded.
Absolutely.
Torn.
Weren't there just 2 investigators too in Oklahoma, Mike?
Yes.
Hi, Walter.
The official report's not in, but 2 paranormal / cryptozoologists in Oklahoma are deceased that were in the process of investigating these creatures.
The one in New Orleans?
No, this is Oklahoma. Oklahoma's got it. It happened in Oklahoma also. So,
do we have a date line or timeline?
I haven't really looked into it, but if y'all want me to, I could dig and make some calls and see what I could come up with.
That would be good, because that's interesting.
Right.
Christy says, "Get on with the story."
Christy, who's Christy? Christy who?
Who Christy is.
Christy, you better be good, or we're going to have Harold take care of you. Harold's probably like, thanks, Mike. Thanks. All right, guys, we will jump into this encounter, and I'm sure we'll have a lot of more BSing to do after the show. After we get into these, I'm sure Randy's got a lot to talk about tonight because Randy knows that we're going boots on the ground tomorrow night in the same location. So we'll talk about that after we get done with these encounters. See, there he is.
You gotta go camping in that spot, man. I guarantee it. That'd be a fun night.
For who?
Of course. They're gonna have a field day.
All of us, of course.
Yeah. Breaking news: Oklahoma has now a number 3 person that has went. Well,
Hey,
it almost looked like they played football with him. Yeah.
Are you a fan of David Pilatti's Missing 411?
Oh, I am so much.
Damn it, Jim! You put me on the spot.
Oh yeah, I've got a few issues with you, Mike. That we're gonna have to iron this shit out tonight because I'm not happy with you.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Why?
I
Get
can't
it,
do it.
Randy.
He recommends if you're going to go into the woods, even on the trails of the state park, that you have a GPS. Now,
Right.
let's just take this a little bit further. You're going out there with a video camera and a flashlight, chasing monsters in the woods. And if we lose video signal of you, you can't count on that GPS in your phone for them to find you. That's why I suggest you get a GPS as soon as you can if you're going to be out there solo. I mean, that's
You're
a
in
must.
big trouble now, Mike.
Yeah, that's actually on the to-do list as a GPS.
And the next time you wander off and snow without one, I'm going to have an issue with you because you got your kid you're fighting for. What's she going to do back one night?
I know my way around down there.
Okay.
I lick my finger and I can check the air and.
It's all fun and games now, but I'm just saying,
Oh yeah.
In case,
Don't
you
make
never.
Randy mad.
Right. I do what my uncle that's a Marine taught me to do. I have what he calls what are they called? Landmarks by sight that I use whenever I'm navigating the woods. And
Right. Under normal conditions, but we're talking
How
about
can you see in the dark?
that emergency personnel can find you in case you were to get incapacitated.
Randy, have I told you that today? I'm so glad to have you back because you are saying the exact same thing that us moderators have been saying for weeks.
If one of these critters
Tell
bites
it like
you,
it is.
the werewolf Bigfoot just love tap you once with your hand or claw, you're toast. Or you're severely mangled for the rest of your life.
Jess, now we can just sit back and watch.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm going to be.
Okay. The next time you ask for my opinion, I'm like, just go on that trail. Go feed the Oklahoma critters. They're hungry.
Randy's got it from here on out.
I will be extra careful tomorrow night.
Yeah.
You guys, tell you something. You already pissed them off. I mean, Mike.
And you better listen.
They were saying, "F you, Mike, F you," and then when you got down to 12%, it was like one of them was looking over your shoulder, reading your battery level, saying, "Bye, bye, Mike. Bye, bye, Mike."
Yeah.
You made them so mad they were even yelling at me.
Yeah. I'm gonna take something you did.
See, Mike, it's all your fault.
It's all my fault.
I think they want you to bring Amanda out there. I think that's what they're calling for.
I bring out the best in the woods.
They're hungry. They got
Thanks a lot, Randy.
Tomorrow night, where I'm at, where we went, I have some ways to tell where I'm at most of the time, and I do want to explore a little further in, but I will be careful.
Kitty.
My goal is I want to catch something is what I want to do. You know what I mean? Let me rephrase. Not physically catch it. I want to catch it on video.
You're going to bring it home with you?
Good boy.
New pet.
What I caught.
Yeah, for some reason he won't eat the cooked meat. He always goes for the raw meat.
You just stop eating the neighbors. I've tried, but he won't stop. No matter what I do,
you didn't bring your bacon. Damn it.
Oh God. He chases the kids on their bikes worse than a dog.
Don't forget your bacon perfume, Mike.
Yeah.
That's what it was. You didn't bring it. And they were upset about that.
I mean, it's terrible. All right, I'm going to get to the story before Christy has a stroke on us. All right, this one here comes out of Manitoba. Canada. My whole life, he says, I've lived there my whole life. He said, the forest there is huge and I loved exploring it. It was my favorite thing to do between 15 and 16 years old. He said he would explore the woods behind his house as much as possibly as much as possible. This is the Redneck Channel, if anybody's wondering. But one day, when I was around 11, I seemed to have entered Bigfoot's family and their home. He says it was a warm autumn day. It was Monday, but I wanted to stay home from school. Surprisingly, my parents let me. So I took this opportunity to continue exploring. I started at around 12:30 after I had lunch and was going to be back by 6 o'clock for dinner. So I packed some water and snacks for the long adventure ahead of me. And then he says, Mike, I was having so much fun. I saw some deer with her babies. Even saw he called it a shinned hawk, which I thought was super cool. I had a phone just to keep track of time, and I saw that it was already 2 p.m. Perfect. I still had plenty of time, I thought. He said about a half hour passed by, and I decided to go sit on a log, and I could have a break. I pulled out a water bottle and a strawberry Nutri-Grain bar. I was taking a bit of a Nutri-Grain bar in whenever all of a sudden I heard this weird knock, knock, knock. And you know, the other night I was getting more wood knocks than I've had in a long time down there too. I did notice that. I hadn't had any wood knocks in a while, and I did notice last night we did have quite a few. He said it was in the distance, but it was really loud. It actually scared me. Then behind me, I heard another set of 3 wood knocks, almost like a communication. Then another to my left. Then in front of me again, but closer to the right side this time. And I didn't know exactly what was going on. I was quite confused rather than scared, but I was scared nonetheless. I decided that another hour wouldn't hurt and that I would get home as soon as I could. But I was scared. Yep, that's what happens when you start doing it. He said, I went to the right since I wanted to explore to see what was making this noise. It was 3:30, but while I was trying to find my way back, I heard it again. Knock, knock, knock. And then, as plain as day, I heard my mother's voice yell for me, saying, it is time for you to be home, but it was not in the direction of my home, and it sounded a little bit off from what my mother would naturally sound like. Now, how many times have we heard that?
Jess has a kitty.
Oh, yes. Everybody has cats.
I love cats so much. I'm sorry.
My cat was up here. She'd be eating me alive. It came from right behind me. He said it was loud, like only a few feet behind me. And then he done what Randy tells everybody not to do. He was in fear. So he says, I started to run. He said, I ran as fast as I possibly could, which wasn't all that fast, but I pushed myself. I started to recognize the trees and knew where I was going. I took a left, now keep going forward, now take another left. I was on my way out of there, running as hard as I could. But then I looked back behind me and I saw something that I will never forget for the rest of my life. There was 7 tall, what I would call overgrown, gorilla-looking creatures chasing me bipedally. They were zigzagging through the trees, grabbing the trees as if using them to launch themselves forward and in different directions while chasing me. You know, that really kind of bothers me to think of them grabbing the trees and launching themselves with them. As they started to get close to me, one of them said in my mom's voice, you're going to die in these woods today, Charlie, because I told you to be back by 6. I was running as hard as I could, and I'll admit, I was crying. I thought I was going to be killed by these creatures. And then all of a sudden, almost like a miracle, I hear the neighbor start the tractor that he left in the field. I ran toward that tractor as hard as I could. When I got there, Mr. Denman said, "Boy, you look like you've seen a ghost. Are you okay?" He said, "I was scared to death." He let me on the tractor and he drove me to my house. I promise, I saw these things in the woods. Absolutely no doubt I seen what they were. They spoke like my mother. They hunted me like a rabbit. And they told me they were going to unalive me. I do believe Mr. Denman saved my life that day.
Very
Wow.
possibly.
Randy has baby kitties. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so easily distracted. He just put baby kitties up. Randy.
Randy's got all kinds.
Look, show me the baby again. Oh my gosh. I was dying. I wanted to like holler, but I was listening to the story too. So.
Randy loves cats.
Oh my gosh.
People dump
You-
them, and I can't let them die.
How many babies do you have, Randy?
Just one, somebody dumped a mom and a bunch of kittens off, and that's the only one that we keep alive.
Aw, I love them. I love
People
all
dump
cats.
pigeons out here, and we don't let them die. We feed them and water them and take care of them.
Yeah,
Try to,
that's what they need. People that all they need is somebody to care for them. They can't do it themselves.
exactly.
So that tells me if that boy hadn't done nothing to those creatures and they all of a sudden started hunting him,
Yeah, that's creepy.
They were
What
trying to get.
creatures are they? Do we know?
Bigfoot is what he believes they were.
And there was that many of them?
7.
That's
What
a
time,
lot.
what time of year was this? Did he say?
I don't think he said.
Oh, okay. That's a
Oh,
lot.
no.
I mean, I've never
He's,
heard of that many.
yeah, he says it was a warm autumn day.
Okay.
So it
Maybe they're
almost sounds
getting
like
ready to go into
I'm thinking
hibernation.
I'm thinking hunting party.
Yep. That's what
Yeah,
I'm thinking.
maybe, huh? Yeah, that makes sense.
You know, and when you said that it sounded like his mother saying the things, I told you not to be out after 6 o'clock. If you watch, I mean, you probably haven't seen a whole lot of the movies, but a lot of the possession or exorcist type movies, or even the stories that you hear, it's always the same thing with the possessed person saying things of the other person's worst fears. So the people that are there trying to draw the demon out and release them, it's always the worst things that they could be saying to them. And it's almost like that's what they were saying to him. His mom yelling at him saying, now this is going to happen because you didn't listen. And
Yeah,
trying to create that higher level of fear in him.
like you're going to be unalived out here because you didn't listen.
Mm-hmm.
Because you went against what your mom told you to do.
But that's
Right.
exactly what the demons do when they've possessed a person and they're trying to,
That's true, Jess.
I've wondered a lot of times, and one of the things that I've theorized on how they're able to do this, because I've heard them call my mom's name, my granny's name. The Bible says that Satan had instruments placed inside of him, and I believe those instruments were vocal cords, which gives them the ability to do these things beyond, to higher and lower frequencies, but also able to mimic sounds. Like they say it's always a little bit off,
right.
but a tape recorder, they can record you perfectly, but you can always tell there's a little bit off. A tape recorder is really not even perfect, right? So I think what they do is that is one of their ways of trying to lure you, or if not lure you, at least slow you down. like to make you stop and think, is that mom? To give them just enough time to circle
get
you.
you.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yep,
because
get
I
you.
believe that's their goal. I
To
believe
let
their
your guard
goal.
down. To let your guard
Oof,
down.
yeah, and I think their goal is to circle you because every time I've went out, uh, that's right. Bohika's exactly right. You know, parlor tricks, demons love them absolutely,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you know, and I do believe that their first goal is to circle you because there has not been a time that I have went in the woods investigating that I have not been circled. They always will circle you, always. And
It's their line of defense. It's their line of defense to get you, like, get all the way around you.
yeah, because could you imagine something with the speed, agility, and strength that they have? And
Yeah, they don't even need to do that, really.
oh yeah, and to attack you from all sides. I mean,
Yeah, that's terrifying.
they could just start running past you from each direction, striking you in different, you know, different things.
Yeah,
Like Jurassic Park.
yeah.
Yeah.
Randy has a cat paradise over there.
Randy has a bunch of cats.
We
He
live out
does.
in the, and
I love
there's
cats so much.
when we first moved out here, we were overran by snakes, rats, and mice. And since we've had the
And I
cat,
love
we don't see the mice or rats or snakes. They do their job. They
cats are
kill,
awesome. That's why.
and they're very
And ticks are
protective.
cute too.
I've had them literally get scorpions off of me, jump on me and get a scorpion before it will sting me. So cats are very loving and very protective, just like
Yeah, they are.
dogs.
I believe that too. Yeah, my cats protect me.
You know where we're going, Randy. You might be interested to know this. A couple of miles from there is a Native American cemetery.
Coincidence?
Now, it's a couple of miles away from where I'm going again tomorrow night. There's a Native American cemetery. And
You're
you
not allowed
know,
to go there.
I won't go to them. I will not go to a
Yeah.
cemetery to do an investigation. I believe that's disrespectful. But
I don't think they call it a cemetery. They call it a burial ground, don't they?
yes, you know
Okay.
what's funny is the Indians also said that Bigfoot also calls where they go and die a burial ground. Also, they use the same word.
Yeah,
Um,
because they believe they're the same as them.
it's
That's
weird.
why.
But the preacher,
Cool
you know,
to stumble across a burial ground of Bigfoot, to find out how they take care of their dead. That way, we could discover why we don't ever find a corpse of a Bigfoot. That
Because
would
they
be cool.
bury them. They bury
They
their
bury-
dead. Is why. That's what I believe.
and if they spend most of their lives in cave systems, do you think maybe
Yeah.
they take the deceased back to the caves?
I mean, I've heard that they bury their dead. And who knows? I don't know because there's a lot of people that think they're interdimensional also. So if they are that, then they might not even be here for all we know. They might take their dead to somewhere else.
I have a guy that I've been speaking to, and I haven't told anybody this. This will be the first time I've even. He is a deputy sheriff, and he said that he knows where a burial ground is, and he has given me the location. I'm planning on going in there when the water goes down. He advised strongly against it because he said they were ran out of there. That is also the same area where 3 little boys were found underneath a log covered up with leaves and twigs and stuff.
I don't think that's a good idea, Mike.
You're going to go alone, right? And camp the night?
Yeah, I don't. You might as well just go there and be like, "Hi guys,"
And take some raw meat with you, to bring them in close.
in your pocket. Don't forget the bacon
Yeah.
spray.
And I'm going to bring my boom box, and it's going to play nothing but whistling,
Sasquatch sounds. Sasquatch sounds.
Our giant rabbit sounds all night long on a recorder. That'd be cool.
Oh my! Okay, that's the worst idea ever. Here we go.
Well,
but he's
look down there, Mike, and catch it on video. That would probably do it, but it may not be what you want on video.
It may be your last video, Mike. Maybe your last video.
It
It
could be
might be a
Mike's
or something that comes in to get you. Who knows?
Mike's last video.
Mike's last video, he goes to where no.
Yeah, but he said that they were actually ran out of this place, and he drew me a map on how to go where they were at, and he's like, dude, you can go there if you want to, but he's like, I have no desire to ever go back there. While they were coming out of the woods, they felt like whatever was there didn't appreciate them taking out what they had found.
Sorry. Michelle says don't forget your bacon scarf.
Yeah. So, I mean, they were he said, very hostile in that area, very violent. And he said they were very, very, very upfront with like bluff charges. So,
Wait, didn't appreciate what was being taken out. So are you talking about the children or are you talking about other things?
the first thing. Yeah, I was just, yeah.
Whoa.
It was a really bad night. And it was years and years ago, he said. But he said they seen a skull in a tree that looked like a Bigfoot skull. And they ran onto some very large bones on their way out. They ended up contacting the Corps of Engineers, and he said they ended up sending the National Guardian, and that's the last.
Remember,
that was
viewer discretion is advised.
so that's the last.
More time.
Only.
Entertainment purposes only.
Yeah, and he said that was the last time he had ever went in there or heard anything. Now, y'all do remember I've done a series on that kind of stuff being found at a location that was buried, and I can't say who they were. They were in military fatigues, and they had military weapons and military vehicles, but they were unmarked. So I cannot say they were military, but they presented themselves as military. Even
anyone can put a military uniform on and pretend they're military, though. That's a scary thing.
Well, even the guy at the guard shack did not have a name insignia or any kind of markings on him.
Yeah, that's scary.
But they did close down government land, and they moved heavy equipment in there. They dug a really big hole. They covered up some bones, and they poured concrete in the hole with rebar. Then they poured riprap down in it, and then topped it off with really big white gravel.
So many questions.
You think they were trying to cover something up?
No.
You know you know that one of the ways I would speculate that they would get away with it is if you find a burial ground, say a Native American or a regular cemetery that they forgot to relocate. If they find that, they're required by law to take the body and relocate it. If that body
in the
is
Native American burial ground,
what kind of body? Human body or other?
That's the kicker.
Ding, ding.
By law, it has to be a human body. Now, any other body that is found down there can be disposed. They have coroners and investigators that can determine, what kind of bones they are. But the kicker is, if it is a Bigfoot, a dogman, or something that is not classified human, and if these are all ifs, if they were to find that by law, well, they can legally by law do three things. They can remove it since it's the core property.
Okay.
Burn it or bury it. That's what the law says.
Because aren't native burial grounds sacred? Like they can't go in native burial grounds and touch anything. Like those are sacred places.
Well, if it's in a floodland, if it's in a floodland to where it's going to flood and it's going to cause them to become exposed to the environment, then they can move them to what they call relocated cemeteries.
Relocating them? Okay.
Yeah, it would be up to the tribes if they have a place they would have first pick to where to move it, and then if they didn't want to do it, then the state would move them to what they would call a relocated cemetery, because you don't want human remains to be exposed, not only because people would see it, but because of disease and stuff like that it would cause.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Is there a ritual that the Native Americans perform when they're moving bodies like that, or do you know, Mike?
I don't know.
Yes.
I would assume there would be.
Yes, there is.
Yeah.
Do we know what these rituals are supposed to present or supposed to do? Is it dealing with supernatural things, or do we know anything about? I'm just asking.
Unsure about it. Yeah, I mean, I'm unsure about it, but I definitely know that when it comes to their burials and stuff like that, it's very like sacred, and it's very special. Like, it's very important to them. I don't know exactly what they do, but I do know that they do certain ceremonies and stuff like that, and especially in moving. I don't know if they would even move a body. I don't know. I'm not native, but I do watch a lot of native people's channels that I really, really like. So I'm
Well,
learning.
I find Native American, history and things dealing with their religious beliefs, I guess you could call it that. I find that to be interesting because for the longest time we were told that these things that they've seen were like mythology and legend and all of this and not real. You go looking at it, the Native American people have been here in America longer, for as long as this country existed, before this country existed. So they're going to have a history of the creatures here, unlike anyone else. Wouldn't it be interesting if we could archive that data somehow, to be able to gain access? Or is that stuff, is it hidden and kept secret to where they don't share knowledge?
I'm unsure, but I know that Native Americans are not religious. Most of them are spiritual. It's very spiritual to them. They like.
Well, I stand corrected. I'm spiritual. I regret.
I think one of the big problems with trying to research Native American history is Native Americans were not big on writing. They were big on passing down stories. It wasn't a whole lot of written down literature to where you was able to open a book and read it. You would have to go to an elder that would tell you the passed down stories from memorization. The elders would have that, that memory. And to your question, Randy, I am Native American. A lot of people argue with me over that.
I'm not going to argue.
Right. I mean, Ray, my great grandpa was full blood. I got Native American on both sides. So whenever you look back at what my grandpa said and everything, my grandpa was in the transitional phase, if you will. He lived to be 100 years old. He was a full blood Cherokee. He spoke fluent Cherokee, didn't really like to speak, he called it the white man's tongue, didn't like to speak English. He would speak English to me and to my cousins because we did not know Cherokee. He was very into the old ways. He would not go to a white doctor. He said that they would kill you. Eventually, they'll kill you. He would go pick his own herbs. He would do his own things. But also, he was born in a time to where, as he grew, he knew our traditions, but he also got to know Christ. Okay. Wow. So whenever he had that conversation with us kids, it was the things that we fought, the spirits, they're real. We really fight the spirits. That the Native Americans fought spirits. The reason that they had their traditions, they didn't know Christ, so they had to come to have a higher God, which may be the sun or the moon or the ancestors or whatever you was needing, the warriors or the healers or, you know, the shaman. So they didn't know who Jesus was. But as, you know, the white man came, Christianity came, they were introduced to Christianity, and then they knew who Christ was, he said. And he told me, and this is exactly what he told me. He said, Mike, what I want you to do is be happy of your ancestry, but know Jesus Christ is Lord. You don't need what we done. All you need is faith and the Word of God. So, thank God my grandpa knew Jesus Christ. I know where he's at now. He was a saved man. But he was in that time to where he was able to know our ways, you know, and to learn the way of Christ. Nobody goes to the Father except for this through the Son, right?
Mm-hmm. We lose Amanda.
We lost Amanda.
Uh-huh.
Like Randy, I can tell Randy's Native American, no doubt. I can just tell by looking at you. And I'm sure you have a lot of traditions and things that you know about, but you're also, I know, a man of Christ. And we're proud of our ancestry. We're proud of our people. But we also, another thing that I learned that I did not know, that witchcraft borrowed from Native American beliefs, because they knew that the Native Americans were dealing with spirits, right? The Native Americans weren't crazy. I mean, they weren't out there having these spirit walks and these spirit guides, and there was something there. You know, I'm not going to argue that there was something there. And then, of course, the witchcraft people, they're like, hey, these guys are onto something. You know, and especially the dark magic, right? Like the dark shaman and all them. What did they do, right? They roll the bones, right? They're rolling them bones. They scribe on the water, right? So then they started learning, okay, if this is working for them, what's in it for us? But what they don't realize is they was all been deceived by the same person.
Yeah, but a lot of those crafts, so to say, aren't just. I mean, they go back through different cultures and different origins and different areas. So something had to have transferred that information from one culture to the next. Because, you know, throwing bones or runes, that's, I mean, used in a lot of Celtic traditions and Viking traditions and such like that too. They did that in many different cultures. So obviously something is. Oh, her phone just shut off.
Yeah.
That sounds like supernatural activity to me when a full battery is drained. When we're talking about supernatural things, coincidence?
I don't think so.
Well, I think sometimes too, whenever you talk about things,
It opens
and
doors.
you're talking about the Word of God, and you're bringing God in, and you're giving Him glory. God don't want people to hear that glory. He would rather people not hear that glory, right? God, Satan's biggest accomplishment, guys, was making you believe he never existed. That was his biggest accomplishment. Because if he can make you believe he never existed, he's already won. And, you know, if you look back, I mean, look what some of those evil shaman did, right? I mean, they practiced some really dark magic, really dark magic.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, you can even today go talk to Native Americans in Oklahoma that still practice the old ways. And you bring up a shaman, and you'll scare them to death.
Good night, Amanda.
Night, Amanda. Sorry that happened to you. It was just getting good. Amanda studies, I think, a lot of that stuff too. But it just I don't know, guys. I know that when you go in the woods and you look for these things, the Native Americans were there long before us. Their traditions were there long before ours. And they practiced this stuff in the woods everywhere. And I'm a believer myself that the cryptids, and Randy, I want your comment on this one. I believe this is what I've come to come up with from doing boots on the ground and studying everything. I don't believe the cryptids just follow the water as a highway or as a food source or a water source. I believe there's energy in that water that they follow that water for. Because when we're born into this life, we are born through the water. What is it is above us and below us is a firmament made of water. The water has memory. They have proven now water has memory. There's more to the water, I believe, than it just been a highway or a food source. I believe there is something more spiritual to the water that connects all these things to it.
Well, and water has more energy and more power. If you look at it in the same way, it's a conductor. Energy can travel through water faster, stronger than it can through most other things.
How are humans into?
Exactly.
Sorry. How are humans born into this world? Is it not through the water? It's through a woman's womb.
Right. Okay. Here's you another point, Randy, that will really make you think of something. Whenever Christ threw out the demons and the demons went into the pigs, right? The pigs ran into the sea and they drowned themselves, right? The demons would rather be in the sea than in the pigs, okay? For some reason, they chose the water. Now, let's bring it back and say, why did they choose the water?
Mike, I have some information. The reason why the spirits in those pigs wanted to be in those pigs because demons, when they were a living and they die, their spirit is hanging out where their body was at. And they didn't want to be cast to the dry places. So the demons, after they were cast into the pigs, drowned the pigs in the water so their spirits could stay in that area.
Right. And I heard preachers talk about they want in the water. The demons like the water for some reason. It all goes back to the water. But then look at this and tell me how strange this is. Another thing I've thought about. Demon possession of people's bodies. What are our bodies mostly made of?
Water.
Why are they seeking out the water everywhere? Why are they following the water? It's more than a food source. It's more than a highway. What is it with the water?
That's where the demon is going to come out in the book of Revelation. The Leviathan.
The demons are looking for a host. They can't really experience this realm that we live in without a host. That's why they're seeking to possess somebody. They have to have a host or a body in this realm to interact with it. That's why they pursue those who aren't saved can be possessed and they can use them for their will on this earth. My opinion, again, based on my studies.
Right. Well, I agree. But also the other thing is, even though they're wanting that host to be able to act in our physical world, to experience taste, lust, love, sex, immorality, they still have the one thing in common. You have the water. The water is always there. The water in the body, the water in the stream, the water. What does it say? Satan is the prince of the air, right? What's in the air? The clouds. Where is moisture? Moisture's in the air.
Yeah.
Why does it?
What?
Why does water have such a big impact on these creatures and where they come from? The fallen to the Nephilim to the Eliod.
There's something about the water being alive. Water's living. It's alive. It's not dead. That's why it can retain images. I've seen a YouTube video where a guy would hold a picture of something over a petri dish of water, and then he would put it in the freezer and freeze it, and then hold it up to a light, and there'd be an image of the picture of whatever object he held over that water before he froze it, which I found to be fascinating.
Yes. And then there was another guy that took 2 glasses of water, and one water, he talked bad to it, said bad words to it. The other water, he talked good to it, praised it and everything. Froze them both, looked at the bad one under a microscope, and it was erratic. There was nothing there. It was all erratic. Puts the one under the microscope that he's so nice to and about God to, and there's perfect crosses all in the water.
Oh, wow. That'd be cool.
So what is the water? Remember that night, guys, when the thing followed me with the red eyes that jumped on the back of my car? I rebuked it, and where did it go? Right down into that creek, right into the water. And what it do after it went into the water? It came right back out.
And what happens if you starve the human body of water? It dies.
Right.
So there's life in the water. There's something, they have some kind of, there's a link to the water with them having to control their host. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, I mean, you can even go back to the crucifixion, and when they stabbed Jesus in the side, what came out?
Water and blood. In the book of Enoch, there is a passage that talks about that. The Roman soldier, sorry, this is a different tangent, but the Roman soldier that pierced the side of Jesus, I think it was his left or his right eye, was injured early in his career as a Roman soldier, like 20 years before this event. And the moment the blood and water from Jesus Christ that he pierced him with the spear hit the eye, his eye was instantly healed. And that Roman soldier knew that that was the Son of God. And that's just a little tidbit that I learned from reading the books of Enoch.
And here's even more, and this would be a whole other show. But we have discovered that there is truth in the mythological stories that we read about. So look at Merlin and the Lady of the Lake.
Mm-hmm.
That's that sword, right? What did the fallen teach us? They taught us how to make things we weren't supposed to know about.
Mm-hmm.
So the Lady of the Lake brings him a magical sword.
Fallen angel technology is what that sword, in my opinion, Excalibur is made with fallen angel technology. Now, exactly what does that mean? I don't know, but it's more than just a normal sword.
What else do we have in the waters? Mermaids and sirens.
The banished women.
Yeah, I mean, look at all the, and probably most of them wasn't, but look at all the witches that they drowned in the water.
Speaking of mermaids, have you studied other countries and what they teach children about mermaids? They go to Africa and other countries. If mermaids were to show up on the beaches of America, the majority of people are going to rush towards these creatures. And I think it's in Africa. They know that if mermaids show up on the beach, and I could have the location wrong, but there's a particular country that teaches their people to fear these things because they're real and they feed on humans. Mermaids kill humans. There's documentaries of it. I mean, what do the mermaids do? They sing a song to lure men to their deaths.
I was say most countries will teach that they're not good and that to beware of them and to stay away from them. No, not here in America.
What do we teach the kids here? If you see them, the kids are going to run up to them and be eaten and consumed by them. I mean,
right. Hey, Randy, Silver Bullet's got a question for you on the screen too.
I don't have the answer. I just know that they use the water to baptize.
You know,
That's
there
a
was a
good
guy.
question.
There was a guy talking the other day, and he said in the Bible, the Catholics removed a lot of stuff out of the Bible, and he was talking about the Bible spoke about mermaids, but they moved mermaids and changed the name to other things to hide that from us. And they said they didn't do it because necessarily they were trying to hurt us. They were afraid of us going back to the old ways, worshiping the old gods. So they thought that if they took them out and we didn't know about them, we wouldn't worship them, was one of the reasons. That was their reasoning.
I was gonna say that's a little
Perfect
twisted.
example of the. Go
Huh?
ahead, Jay. Go
No, I
ahead.
was just saying that that was a little twisted to think that, because if you're reading the Bible to learn and be taught the way of Christ, then why would you learn it and go back to?
I can give you a perfect example of what Mike is talking about. The King James version of the Bible. King James, when he became king,
Mhm.
he was afraid that man would go back to worshiping angels, which led to the fall of man to begin with. So the king had everything dealing with angels, the Nephilim, out. And that's why the King James Version doesn't have anything about mermaids or angels, because it was taken out. Which leads us to this world that we are in today, where the church doesn't have the power that if you were to go back into the days of Noah, they knew what the Nephilim were. They knew what these vampires and werewolves were, because they walked with the earth with them, and they were taught the true story of what walked the earth with them. We were taught a lie. And now I do believe God is letting his people know about the real world that the Lord created isn't this false version that we were taught in the public schools or in most churches of today. My opinion, again.
And you know, and a lot of people get confused too, is they call the church a building, and the church is not the building. A church is not what man has built with their hands, but the church is the body of Christ. It is us. We are the church.
And our body is the temple of God.
That's right. Amen.
Mhm.
You know, sometimes I think in a way, was I blessed that I grew up at my granny's with all these creatures around, because I grew up knowing they exist, that I was shown a more truthful growing up, that there are things out there that are not taught in schools and are not taught, in churches. And if you believe them, you're crazy. And I, I was able to live and experience them, I knew that they were there. And, it says, the ending days coming will be like the days of Noah, which I think that's going to be a little bit different. We're going to have, and I think a big part of that is going to be the AI with the robots. And I think the robots are going to play a huge role in that, because what happened, I mean, what happened whenever the first happened with the angels and humans, right? It was a transformation, right? That's what happened. It was the corruption of the seed was a transformation. What are the people battling right now? What is taking over in America right now? Transgender, robots, AI. It's all transinformation.
Humanism.
Exactly.
Future's going to where you're going to be trading in your current body. Imagine, in the not so long future, they have the ability to give you a brand new body that will never grow old, it'll never get tired, and all you got to do is trade your body in for this new body that'll never wear out, never go tired. How many people's going to fall for that? And there's scripture in the Bible that says even the elite will be deceived. If you trade your body in for an AI body, you're no longer human, and God won't recognize you.
Well, just like what they were talking about, what is required to be a living object, right? The main thing that is required to be a living object is metabolism. Anything that has metabolism is a living object. So, you know what's scary that coexists from an old time to a new time? The pyramids have a metabolism because they produce their own energy. They don't know how they do it, but they do it. They do have a metabolism. They are alive in a spiritual sense. Okay. Now the new AI robots that they're putting out, right? What was the first thing Elon Musk said? They have a metabolism. They're able to produce their own energy. So if they're able to produce their own energy, that means that they are a perfect host for a demon to manifest in, live inside of, and have a body, right?
You would think. Well, I mean, AI, I just watched a video too where the AI has gotten to the point where they actually were able to do the AI implant on the guy. And just by using his mind, he was able to control things on the computer. I mean, what's the stopping point? I don't think there's a
People,
stopping point.
people want to know what AI really is. I'll give you a hint. Any of y'all watch the Terminator movies?
Yeah. Well, you know, and,
We've been
like
warned.
the old saying, what has
And
a man gained? You know, if you gained
yeah,
everything in the world and you lose God, what have you gained?
exactly. But they set these warnings out, and yet we're still building these things that are going to lead. If AI won't be able to destroy humankind as long as the Christians, the Holy Spirit's here upon this earth. Now, after tribulations, all bets are off.
You
I
know,
think
imagine this: they have already took a robot in China that had human skin growing on it, that had its own metabolism. Okay, now I'm going to stretch this out for you guys. I want to go kind of far out there. Our planets, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, they're all named after gods. Those are empty celestial bodies that still have a metabolism. Those fell to Earth, corrupted the DNA, and are chained in hell. The disembodied demons that are here from the flood, they're going to have man build them their bodies because the seed will not work no more. Remember, there was anonymity put between us and the seed. So now man has to build them a host with a metabolism for them to live in, just like the one in China that became self-aware that they had to destroy it because it decided humans no longer needed to exist.
Well, and if you think back to what I was saying the other day, the person that actually came up or dreamt up that processor chip, which has made these AI machines and robots and everything all possible now, that one person received that through a dream. That was all. So, who implanted that dream? Who gave him that dream? He's
Right.
not giving that glory to God. He's taking that for himself and saying, yeah, it was a dream I had.
Right. Exactly, Michelle McGuire. The demon in the machine would not be human, but it would be transhuman. It would be corruption. It would be corrupted, same as the beginning, as the end of days of Noah. Silver Bullet says, I think I'm confused. If there's evil in the water, why are we baptized in it? I don't believe that the water is evil. I believe the water carries a power source that is gained from the water, that is used from the water, that they can use it either way, if you will. It's kind of like the free will we talk about. I can walk up to Randy and I can hand him a sword and say, "Here, Randy, here is your sword." Now, Randy can choose to do good with it or to do bad with it. It's his free will. What will Randy do with it? Right?
Yeah.
They always say that there's one thing that God can't do and one thing God won't do. He can't lie, and he will never change free will.
Mm-hmm.
Randy's in deep thought.
I'm posting.
Mm.
Unfortunately, I have to look away to post stuff.
I mean, you can look at it like this. How's this, Randy? Here's your one. When we're born into this world, like you said a while ago, we are born through the water, right? Born through the water. Satan was cast out of heaven, right? Like a lightning bolt, right? Like with force, right? So by me and you and everybody else that was born through the water, that is our birth certificate that we belong here. Satan don't have a birth certificate. He didn't come through the water. He's a foreigner. He's an alien. He does not belong here. See, hell wasn't made for us. Hell was made for the fallen angels. Nobody goes to hell because it was made for us. We go to hell because we choose it, right?
Uh-oh.
Did we lose him?
No, I've got
Oh,
activity.
Oh, okay.
they don't like what we're talking about. Uh-oh.
It's okay.
So
I heard
we
something. I
so
just
we-
heard some. And my cat's been crying at me, so she's sensing something. I don't know if y'all seen or heard her crying at me, but my cat's crying at me, so she's sensing something. And I'm just letting you know. She don't normally talk to me, but she's over here talking to me, and she's never done that in a live show before.
right.
And she keeps looking over, and there's nothing over there. So I'm just, that's his obvious observation that my cat don't normally come up to me, jump up here and start talking to me like he's trying to get my attention. And then
Right.
I heard something, I don't know what it was, but sorry to distract.
Oh, you're okay. I was just saying, since we're born through the water, we have a birth certificate that we belong here. We belong here.
Most definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And what was it?
We're given dominion by God over the earth and everything under the earth. His word says so.
Right. And what was it? John the Baptist said, today I baptize you by water, but there will be one that comes that will baptize you by fire.
Yeah. Oh, that's the glory of God.
Yeah, exactly. But guys, when you go out there into the woods and you look for these things, I have a belief, and I may be wrong, I may be totally wrong, I may be wrong on all this. I'm not pushing this on you guys. Please believe as you believe and study this yourself. Don't just take my word for it. I think that whenever you go out into the woods, would that not be the dry places?
No, the woods is not the dry places. The desert is the dry places.
The deserts?
Yes.
So, I mean, if we go out into these woods where Satanists, we know, worship, perform ceremonies, we have a lot of that here. And they believe that they open doors and things come out of these doors. People say they've seen that. We've watched them come out of the doors. There's no telling what we're calling up on us while we're out there. And I think it's important that we be prayed up and ready for spiritual attacks, physical attacks. It made a lot of sense to me today whenever I was told that if it's something physical, it's a whole different fight. It's a whole different fight. And you better be able to use your weapons and defend yourself, because if you're not able to do that, you really might become something's dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Spiritually, you got to have faith. You got to be saved. You got to have the faith. Without the faith, the words are just words. I mean, what was the story about it? The people that went and tried to do the exorcism and they weren't saved, and the demons were like, we know who Jesus is, but we don't know who you are. And they stripped him down nude and beat him in the streets, you know. So just very, there's a lot of things when you go out looking for these things. These things, you know, Scott Carpenter, again, I go back to Scott Carpenter, couldn't have said it better. Don't seek these things out. They are evil. They are demons. They come from the same thing. You got a physical, you got a spiritual. They come from the same Father, you know. He went through some scary stuff. He really did. He went through some things that when I talked to Travis, make the hair on the back of your neck stand up. The water footprints in the kitchen, the watching him outside, the eating the dog food. I mean, he was having some issues. And I never knew that. You know, I really never knew that was happening to him. I knew that he was a big researcher. I knew that he was, you know, had the DNA. He was, you know, I believe ahead of everybody at finding out what these were. I believe that he was absolutely on the right track. But I never knew he had stuff in his home. I never knew that. And that causes you to really step back and look at what boots on the ground investigators deal with. I mean, they're gonna try to come home with you, and they're probably going to come home with you. Now, there's some that they probably like them being at their house. You know,
Some maybe.
Randy's, you got something going on, Randy, at your house?
Nothing to worry about.
So what do you think, Randy, to wrap it all up tonight? What would be your end statement? How would you wrap all this up? And then about going out tomorrow night, what would be your give me your thesis?
Well, you're going to encounter heavy activity tomorrow. I can already feel this in the air. I mean, looking at what happened the last time you were out there, and dude, they were throwing shit at you. I mean, you obviously hit a nerve with them. They were cursing you. I mean, my God, I've never heard EVPs like that. I've never heard shit like that before, so clearly before. I mean, it's going to be active. I'd take a friend. I wouldn't go alone, but, you know, you can't find anybody, so you're going to go feed the Oklahoma critters. I hope not, but, you know, it's always a possibility if you're out there solo. You could get ate, and I'm not playing. I've seen werewolves up close, some of the larger ones. My God, they can swallow you whole without chewing. One claw, they can hit you one time with the claw and cut you in half at your chest. I mean, these things are massive, and they're massively strong. I mean, and you're chasing them with a camera and a pistol. That's not real smart, but, you know, you got to do what you got to do. Just be safe and get home alive, not in, you know, multiple pieces. Don't end up like those, you know, the dead investigators who went out and didn't go home because they probably did something stupid. Not that Mike ever does something stupid, not him.
No, not
he's
me.
Always professional and never takes unnecessary risks while he's on the job.
Randy.
So tomorrow I think it's going to be an exciting night. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to let you go at that. Don't feed the Oklahoma critters tomorrow, please.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that tomorrow will be an interesting night. I believe we do have another front coming also that's going to be right before tomorrow. So
do you have a tent and stay out there for a little bit in the tent and see what happens? Don't sleep, but just go inside the tent and see what happens. Set up
Randy,
a tent.
if I had a tent, I wouldn't pitch it there anyway. I would probably end up the back of my Durango turns into a bed. So I would probably be more the type to open the hatch on the Durango and just lay in the back in the dark and wait to see what happens.
I saw a video where a guy did something similar in like a cute, one of those double wide pickup lifts. They got back seats. I forget that. Anyways, he went out to a location. He climbed in the back seat and left the front windows down. And oh my God, coming in and sticking their heads inside the vehicle with them. And I don't
Oh, wow.
remember the video, but it was
Were
like
those
this scary
with the
crap.
big yellow eyes?
Yeah.
Yep, I saw that one.
Who was the name of that? I don't even know the name of that video, but I saw that. I'm like, this guy is crazy. He's got a video camera. He'll climb in the back seat of his pickup and let these things come in and stick their heads inside the truck with them. I mean, the guy's insane.
Right. You know,
You gotta try that.
I'm actually, believe it or not, I have something I'm planning. It's going to be a daytime, nighttime camp. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the daytime on my outdoor channel. And as I transition over into the dark, I'm going to go over to my abnormal channel. So people can watch the daytime setup and then move over to the nighttime.
Oh, yeah. Too bad if you only had a sign, like a little flyer you could set up, for like one channel and one for that channel. You could change the signs up, just to have a little sign in the background when you're doing your video of whatever channel you're on. I think that'd be so cool.
Hey, Randy, a lot of people are wondering. They said they were hearing voices at your house. Is that what was happening with you?
I could hear stuff and I was hearing some weird shit, but I couldn't make it out.
People are saying they're hearing mumbling and voices at your house, like what they heard on my boots on the ground.
Well, guys, what have we been talking about? Amanda had a battery drain. This just goes along with the territory.
Right.
It's all connected, in my opinion.
Absolutely. And I would love to have somebody that I could take with me. I mean, my God, that would be so nice, just to have.
I am working on getting you somebody. It might be a little while, but I'm working on getting you somebody that will be able to go with you.
And just to help, even if, having that second person that could run the IR camera when stuff is happening to where you could catch that IR. But I don't feel comfortable using the IR camera, being out there alone, because what's the IR camera do? At night blinds you because you got a bright light in your face. And then when you remove it, you see black dots everywhere. And I really don't want to be blinded when I'm out there.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, that's about all I got tonight. We're working on almost midnight. We've been on for 2 great hours. I think we went really deep tonight, deeper than we go most of the time. And with that being said, I'll give Jess the word first. We'll let the lady go first, and then we'll let Randy give his wrap up on it. And
thank you everybody for being here tonight. Hopefully things are starting to cool off now. Thank goodness it's starting to cool off here. I hope everybody stays safe. Be kind to one another. Check on your neighbors still. Stay hydrated. And God bless everyone.
Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank each and every one of you for joining us tonight and supporting the Abnormal Investigations channel. We thank y'all for staying with us all this time and listening to our stories. We appreciate your comments. We appreciate your likes. And if you haven't hit the like button, please smack that like button. Share this video on other platforms. Help Mike drive the algorithms through the roof. Let's get this video out there. And this will also, I'm predicting that tomorrow is going to be very exciting. I'm hoping that, Mike survives another episode of Date Night with Mike. We just hope he doesn't end up in something's belly, we just hope he don't get ate. And we hope y'all join us right here tomorrow night for another episode of Date Night with Mike. And y'all have a beautiful night. And I'm going to hand this back to Mike.
all right, guys, we thank each and every one of you for being here, supporting us tonight. It means a lot to me. Seeing the hearts in the chat to support Hunter touches my heart just as much as it did the day he was took. You guys are wonderful. You're good people. And I appreciate more than you all being here. I couldn't tell you. you guys are family, and you've been here through the hard times and the good times. And unfortunately, our good times were cut short when we were in the midst of our growing and really expanding this channel. That's when we were hit, and that's probably why we were hit. But you guys stood there. You were my core following. You guys are the ones that got me through it. They kept building. And right now we are building, guys. We are building huge right now. Our videos is up. Our algorithm is up. You guys are all amazing, and your family. You might be abnormal, but hey, you're our abnormal family. What's the old saying? In an abnormal world, abnormal actions are normal reactions. Guys, thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging out with us. We love each and every one of you. We'll see you tomorrow night on the live, probably going to be around 8:45, and we will kick it off in the same place. And we appreciate the support. Share it out if you don't mind. And again, thank you so much. And remember, keep your head on a swivel. Don't be something's dinner. Good night, and God bless. We'll see you tomorrow night, guys.
Good night.
Good night.